One of the legends we didn't see, and now we know why, is Brock Lesnar. The rumor and innuendo is that they just basically slotted Bron Breakker into that spot. But the other rumor and innuendo was that Brock Lesnar was going to challenge Gunther at WrestleMania.
Ooh.
And that would have been a real dream match, Brock Lesnar and Gunther. I don't think it ever happens, not just at WrestleMania, but ever anywhere at this point. But were you surprised they debuted Bron Breakker in the Rumble? How they showcased him? And do you think he will actually wind up being perhaps Gunther's WrestleMania opponent?
You're hitting me with all kinds of information here. God, that's another man, Conrad. You're telling me a couple. Oh, Bron. I know him as Bronson. Knew him since the day he was born, or right there at it.
How proud are you of that? One of your friends' son in a featured spot in the Royal Rumble. Man, that's a cool deal.
When he was right out of high school and college, he was texting me about, hey, I mean, look, he's got two brothers. So this is Rick Steiner's kid. Those that don't know, it's his son. So there's three boys there. Scott has two boys. So there's 5 total boys. Out of the 5, Bron's the only one, to my knowledge, that really got bit by the bug. And man, he was bit by the bug early. So that's what's in our DNA at the end of the day. So for him to be bit by the bug and obviously really commit to this industry, and I mean, he loves it. In NXT, grinding away, doing what he needs to do, getting better each day. Obviously, we both know the folks down there that run it. Is it perfect? No, but it is. What an opportunity. And he's got the passion and drive that it takes. And so for him to work his way along and work his way along and work his way along. And again, the Grand Weaver above knows all, and his plan is perfect. But how in the world, we just talked about the top guy being scripted. I mean, how could you script that? His wife picks 15. Come on. Okay. On the flip side is a door was closed, it appears, with the Brock situation. But what a door that was open for Bron, and he came in and he seized it. And to me, it was just a matter of time. But the timing of all this, can you imagine old Bronson on the stage of WrestleMania with Gunther? And if Gunther's going to lose the title to somebody,
you're talking about making a guy. Bron is made right then.
I mean, at some point, Roman's got to lose. It's best for business, as they say, and Gunther's got to lose.
You make Bron.
I was going to say, what an upside to putting Bron over. I mean, what a tremendous upside.
And it frees up Gunther
to move on up. He will be WWE champion in 12 months, inside of 12 months.
Well, it's interesting because I think a lot of people are sort of scratching their heads and saying, okay, well, if that's what we're going to do, then what does that mean Seth is going to do? Because I think a lot of people, as soon as the news was revealed that CM Punk was coming to WWE, given the press conference and the way things happened with interviews with Nick Houseman on the Seth Rollins side, people just assumed, and then we saw Seth Rollins go apeshit in the ring. We just assumed that's the WrestleMania match. But there's rumor and innuendo that Punk may have actually gotten hurt in his first match back on TV. It was his first broadcast match in 10 years since he walked out on the WWE on that exact same day, the night after the Royal Rumble in 2014. And allegedly he's got a triceps injury. I don't know. But if that's still on, I would love to see Punk and Seth main event night 1. But if it's not on, what do we do? Because it does feel like they sort of teased Gunther and Seth. I don't know. Like it's weird to not have a clear WrestleMania picture, but I don't know that we necessarily do, because is Seth going to be hurt? Is Punk hurt? What's up with The Rock? Is The Rock going to do something or not? We know Brock Lesnar's out. it's a lot of moving parts right now in WWE. No,
So back to some sports analogies. When Harbaugh made the decision, dominoes started to fall in the coaching world. Is that fair enough to say, Conrad?
yes,
When he just said he's going to Chargers, then this domino fell and that domino fell and that domino fell. I think that gentleman that sits on the board of directors, the newly appointed Dwayne Johnson, once that domino falls for WrestleMania, everything else will be filled in. I think until that domino falls, it's premature to even guess.
What's interesting to me as we're talking about The Rock is it's like I don't know that we can make WrestleMania any bigger. Like WrestleMania is going to be sold out on its own. It's not a pay-per-view. I kind of assumed the way like when Rock was on the set for College Game Day last year when he was out there on the Deion Sanders train. When he was asked about this facing Roman Reigns, he said he'd like to do something that's never been done before and take fans on a ride they've never seen before and do something that was, the biggest in history, yada, yada, yada. And every year it does feel like WrestleMania is breaking another record. I don't think we have to worry about this year being any different. But next year being the first Netflix WrestleMania seemed to be obvious to me. Like, oh, that's what they'll do. I'm not so sure though. Like, given the recent news, do they think they need a shot in the arm, PR wise? Because I almost wonder, like, is The Rock in this spot to sort of act as WWE's Shaquille O'Neal to their Papa John's? Like, you had such a bad actor who went public with some bad behavior, and Papa John, when he was on tape saying things he definitely should not be saying. Well, how do we change the narrative and not get that on us at Papa John's, the pizza company, not the individual, not the guy, but the company?
What'd they do?
They went and got Shaq.
Oh, I got you.
Shaq is
He's the spokesperson. I
the
got
ultimate spokesperson, and he was out front. And Papa John's is enjoying great success now. And I think the Shaquille O'Neal influence and impact there when they were in a time of need. Now, when The Rock was made a board member, technically none of this was out there, but that changed 3 or 4 days later. So it does make me wonder, are they going to use The Rock almost as like their Shaquille O'Neal?
Don't all signs point to that, Conrad? And I get it. It's all hypothetical. Here's something that right now, Conrad, WrestleMania, help me out. It's going to be on Peacock.
Yeah.
Where else in the United States?
Pay-per-view.
Only on Peacock. Is it on? Is it going to be?
It has been in years past. You could buy it on Direct TV and such.
Okay. So there's direct revenue involved.
A tiny amount.
Okay, so it's tiny.
Minuscule.
Well, again, if you kind of look back, and you've had so many different conversations about that and screenshots.
The opportunity is the sponsorship. Like that's and merch.
Well, I think merch, but is it too late in the game? Sponsorship deals don't happen overnight.
They might for The Rock.
Okay. So now we're talking about something that's going to move that app on our phone known as the stock ticker. Will the stock be affected by Rock's involvement this year?
Will he also cut deals for his other brands to be a part of WWE programming?
Okay.
Like if you recall, whenever Conor McGregor would fight in the UFC, they'd be promoting his whiskey and all of his other ventures. It would not surprise me to see
every wrestler in the shirts of Under Armour,
and every wrestling fan hearing about their favorite new tequila. And maybe there's, people who were ringside who play professional football for the XFL, or I'm just saying there is going to be, if you think that's not happening, like
UFL.
Oh, it's rebranded now. You're exactly right.
It's the merger, XFL and whatever the one was.
Well, listen, here's what I know. I
Like,
know that
there's so many moving parts currently going on. You know, today, yeah, we did talk about Sting. Wembley, that's a whole another, just we talked about the last 12 months. A lot of moving parts in the AEW world, but we literally have just talked about the last 3 or 4 days, Conrad.